are the new kings, sailing our seas of
Hi, this is Fred from PROFIL, and today I'm fortunate to have Mark Kelly and Steve Hogarth from Marillion. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Good, thank you.
Awesome. First, welcome to Quebec City. It's been a while?
4 years.
4 years. Since the last album, is it?
Is it not long?
2012.
When did we do that festival in town? That was it.
Was that?
Yeah.
That was less than 4 years?
Yeah,
I'm
I
wrong?
think that was,
We played in
2
this-
years. We did.
Okay,
yeah,
we played in this
did
venue 4
festival
years
in
ago,
town.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were here for you.
Yes. So congratulations on your 18th album, Fear. I know you guys have many chance to describe the album, but would you mind, for our viewers' benefit, to just quickly go ahead and describe it again?
Yeah, it's quite a musical journey. There are a number of long pieces on it, which are then subdivided into separate chapters. So it's quite unusual in that sense. It's an album about a kind of a loss of faith in England. A lot of the songs are about England, British foreign policy, the state of the world, the financial meltdown. Now we have Brexit, of course, but these words were all written before that. But
Okay.
it's sort of a bit spooky how some of the worst fears in this album are already happening. Maybe Donald Trump will get elected next week, and we'll just all carry on down.
Exactly.
It's about a sense of foreboding, really, and about how we live and how we might choose to live as well.
How's the like you've been on tour for a few weeks now? So how's the response from the fans to the new songs? And
It's been really, really good actually. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things with this album. I think it's a little bit challenging because whilst it's got quite a lot of really interesting melodies, it doesn't have this typical verse and chorus structure that most songs have. So it takes more than 1 or 2 listens to start to understand it musically. But we've had such a great reaction to the album, critically, from reviews, but also fans are saying that they think it's not our best work, among our best work, and
Wow.
and that's been shown at the shows. But they've just been like last night in Montreal was just amazing, isn't it?
It always
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
but it was astounding.
Great.
Astounding.
Yeah, so great.
the set list was built from a poll that you guys had online.
It was
right?
certainly influenced by it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So did you have to change the set list while on tour to like accommodate or please the fans somehow?
We
or-
started out in Europe at the beginning of the tour. I think we started in Barcelona, didn't we? And then, this latest leg, did quite a few European dates and some German dates opening for Foreigner. And we did review the set and changed it before we came this side of the pond.
Okay.
There seemed to be an appetite on this side of the Atlantic for some of the longer songs, and so the sets become on paper it doesn't look like it's very long at all, does it? It's about 2 hours
We have
plus.
changed it quite a bit, haven't we? And from night to night we'll change it just because, I don't know, what was it the other night? Somebody shouted out Kaylee's, so we haven't played that for ages. So I went, all right, we'll do that.
Oh, yeah?
And then last night, because it was Montreal, we played Montreal.
Yeah.
And, it's...
That was the last song last night, was it?
It was, yeah.
yeah.
It's the best way to do it, eh?
Yeah.
So
No,
it keeps it interesting. It's good to be responsive to people, but at the end of the day, we're trying to balance, a selection of songs from 17 albums, plus obviously we want to highlight the new material as well. So we're doing about 40 minutes worth of the new songs as well. So, and we've only got, we've been playing for over 2 hours those nights, haven't we? So
That's great.
It's a bit of a challenge sometimes.
You went through crowdfunding. We've seen pictures of you guys surrounded by stacks of CDs and vinyls, and did you meet the goals that were set, and how did you feel about the response overall? from the
terrific
crowdfunding?
this time. Yeah, this time we used a company called Pledge Music,
Yep.
and we were very happy with how that went in financial terms. I think the numbers were actually up on last time. We've had some problems with the company that they then used to fulfill the orders. Made a number of errors, and I know that the Germans didn't get their albums until about 3 weeks after they should have had it. So
Yeah, disappointing because that reflects badly on us, and it was completely out of our control.
but in terms of as an experiment, it was a very worthwhile experiment doing this one with Pledge Music. We learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah. And did it get you to talk and get to know your fans a little bit more, or not really? Is it?
We're already doing that all the time, and we have very good, lines of communication with the fans. It's easy for everybody to be like that now.
Yeah.
There's
Social
a
network
Facebook page and all the rest of it. So, we do know what the fans are saying, what they think. Well, certainly the most vocal of them. That's the problem with this. Is there are a handful of people that make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Maybe positive, some of it negative. And you always have to try and put it in perspective,
Yeah. The quiet ones have something to say normally, but they don't do it, right?
Exactly.
Listening to Fear, as far as I'm concerned and we're concerned, this is the most cohesive album to date, musically, lyrically. Everything seems to fall together, but was it hard to set it up as Fear today, as like the way we hear it on vinyl or CDs or?
Well, we have to give immense credit to the producer, Michael Hunter, who produces our stuff and has done for a while. And not only does he produce our studio material, but in between studio albums, we've usually got him in the studio mixing live soundtracks from the movies, the live movies that we've made.
Yeah.
And I think because he's spent so much time working with us and also very focused on live recordings, I think over time he's probably developed an understanding of what it is that excites the fans. And he probably has an understanding of that which is beyond our own. And maybe that's the reason why, having worked with us this long, he's arrived at this place where he could put together an album from the music we've written.
He's also learned how to get the best out of us as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of uncanny that over the years, he's realised that when we write, we jam, and when we jam something, we record it in multi-track, highest quality we can make, so it's usable if we wanted to use it for a finished master. But what he realised was that as soon as we start to learn to play something that we've jammed, it gets worse. So the more we know something, the worse it is. So his approach to that was to say, okay, we've got a jam, let's learn the jam, but then we're going to jam that. And so you'll end up evolving these bits of music in a way that we would not necessarily have done without his involvement. And also, he's been very good at choosing what he thinks is the best things that we should work on. So his taste, the amount of work he puts into listening to the hundreds of things that we record, and then he does quite a lot of the arranging or suggests. I mean, he would say he doesn't do any of this. He's just making suggestions. He's just saying, "How about this, guys?" Or "Have you heard this?" So it's the sort of gentle guidance, I suppose. But he's very creative, and he definitely adds a lot to what we do.
So during that recording process, basically what you guys did is had lots of music to pick from. Is that from my understanding?
Yeah,
and then
masses of music, most of which was discarded. Just little magical moments were then taken from many hours and weeks and months of jamming.
Wow.
And then worked, and then the happy accidents that had happened that Mike would play us something and say, what do we all think of this? We also had a SoundCloud account, a private account, where each of the five of us would select our favourite moments, our favourite ideas, and put those in a folder. and it was the ideas that everyone was unanimous about that were then developed
Yeah.
forwards into songs.
What about the remaining material? Was it simply
Lots.
discarded?
No, there's lots that it'd be a shame to not look at again.
Yeah.
There were hundreds of ideas that we all liked, and you know, at some point you have to say, okay, we're going to stop
Yeah.
here and we're going to finish the album, and we did that. Do that, but there is certainly stuff we've got to go back and look at again.
Yeah,
Maybe a Fear 2?
it's probably the best part of another really good record in there.
Yeah. Montreal, well, basically, Marillion Weekend will not step foot in Montreal this year.
No.
Will it happen sometime soon in the next few years? Or?
Yeah, I don't think there's any intention on our part to discontinue the Montreal
Okay.
weekends. It just didn't make sense to do one next spring because we'd just been here,
Yep.
and we were a little worried. Lucy was a little worried that sales might be low,
Yeah.
having
Actually,
been here so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a little bit difficult to make it, you know, break even or make money coming to Montreal. And yeah, and if the ticket sales were down a bit, we lose money, and you know, it's still something we have to consider. You know.
Usually a lot of Americans come north of the border for Montreal as well, and having just toured in the States, they probably would stay at home. So we could be wrong, you know, it could have been a roaring success, but we thought we'd better be careful.
Especially after last night.
Yeah, we better be careful. Yeah, I know, that was amazing.
There's always been like a friendly rivalry between Montreal and Quebec City, okay? So have you ever thought about moving the Marillion Weekend to Quebec City?
No. But you know, yeah, you're right.
I tried.
We
Yeah,
can be persuaded, you know.
Yeah, we've always had-
give us a good
Well,
reason.
you'll find out tonight.
Yeah, we will
Yeah.
find out.
And we've always had a good reaction in Quebec City too, so it's true.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. We were talking about it last night, and H was saying, yeah, this predates him joining the band even. So there was some sort of connection with Montreal right from the beginning, right up until when we did the days with Rush, and then obviously since then, every time we've come here with Steve, it's been fantastic. So
There's quite a large fan base for progressive rock music around here.
In French Canada,
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
And yeah, that's
that's
love that.
But it was great here last time.
I have
remember.
just a few more questions, but they're all one-word answer.
Oh, good.
If you do not wish to answer them, you just say pass.
All right.
All right. I'll do both. Trump, Clinton.
Clinton.
Trump, Clinton.
Reluctantly.
Clinton.
Digital, CD, or vinyl?
Depends on the sample rate.
That's not one word, is it?
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Digital.
Digital.
Pass.
Marillion's greatest fan base country.
Oh, that's hard. That is hard.
Pass. Can't give you a one word answer.
Netherlands.
Netherlands. Good. Jazz or blues?
Blues.
Blues.
The album you're the most proud of in the Marillion's discography. Sorry.
Fear.
Pass.
Your favorite progressive rock album?
Well, that's not one word, is it? Close to the edge.
Yeah, that's right. Close to the edge. That's a few words, but
Yeah. But it's one
The
album.
Yes album.
yes, album. Porcupine Tree or Steven Wilson solo?
Porcupine Tree.
Both country.
Wes is next door. He's probably listening.
Massive moral pressure.
Keyboard players, Rick Wakeman or Tony Banks?
Big way.
Rick Wagner.
And last one, hard liquor or beer?
Sorry, Tommy. Nothing
Yeah.
personal.
Beer? Hard liquor or beer?
Hard liquor.
What about wine?
Or wine?
Wine.
Wine.
Wine, yeah. Wine club.
Well, thank you very much for you guys to accept being on Profile, and we'll wish you a lot of success with the album Fear and a lot of fun tonight here in Quebec City. I know the fans are looking forward to it. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.